Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Burbank, California, and we're going to be in Honolulu, January 11th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So you remember that pager attack? Remember Israel had all those pagers blow up in Lebanon? They said it was only Hezbollah, but that's we said that's the classic, because that's classic terrorism, right? Guess who agrees with it? The ex-CIA director. So, Jimmy, why do you listen to a CIA director? They're all liars. Well, when they tell a truth that goes against their, that's when you can believe them. Former CIA director Leon Panetta calls Israel's explosive pager operation terrorism. Here he was. He's doing an interview on CBS. Here, want to hear it? Here it is.
Ability to be able to place an explosive in technology that is very prevalent these days, and turn it into a war of terror, really, a war of terror. This is something new.
Is it terrorism?
I don't think there's any question that it's a form of terrorism. This has gone right into the supply chain, right into the supply chain. And when you have terror going into the supply chain, it makes people ask the question, what the hell is next?
It sounds like you're genuinely worried.
I am. This is a tactic that has repercussions. And we really don't know what those repercussions are going to be. The forces of war are largely in control right now of what's going on.
Do you think there should be condemnation for it? Should other nations step in, including us?
I think it's going to be very important for the nations of the world to have a serious discussion about whether or not this isn't an area that everybody has to focus on, because if they don't try to deal with it now, mark my word, it is the battlefield of the future.
And so what Arnaud Bertrand says, he says, wow, even former CIA director Leon Panetta agrees that Israel's attack on Lebanon is terrorism. And why can you believe this? Because they always side with Israel. So the fact that they would break shows you how much of terrorism it actually was. Really contextualizes everyone who defended or even praised the attacks. You're literally less ethical than the CIA. So the people who were gleeful about those terrorism attacks via pagers, you're literally less ethical than the CIA. That's such a great point. Such a great point. Here's the UN human rights chief. He declares the attack a war crime, violating the prohibition on booby traps and an act designed to spread terror. So here, let's watch.
I'm appalled by the breadth and impact of the attacks on 17 and 18 September in Lebanon on civilians, where the explosion of pagers, two-way radios, and other electronic devices have reportedly killed at least 37 people, including 2 children, and injured more than 3,400 people in Lebanon alone, leaving many with permanent disabilities and healthcare facilities struggling to cope with the magnitude of the impact on people. International humanitarian law prohibits the use of booby trap devices in the form of apparently harmless portable objects which are specifically designed and constructed to contain explosive material. It is a war crime to commit violence intended to spread terror among civilians. I call again for an independent, thorough, and transparent investigation into the circumstances of these explosions. Those who ordered and carried out these attacks must be held to account.
Here's what Scott Ritter says.
This is not an act of war. This is an act of terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism. It's a criminal action. It's an action that the United States government would never authorize its intelligence services or military forces to undertake because of the indiscriminate nature of this attack. No military force, no military professional force would ever undertake something like this because you can't control the outcome. You're not in control of the outcome. It's very arbitrary. It's not as targeted as maybe the media is making it out to be. So it's an act of terrorism. Israel believes that it is engaged in a war against a terrorist entity. That's what it calls Hezbollah, and that the rules don't apply. But that's not the case. Hezbollah is a political party. It's not just a resistance movement. It's not just a militia. It's a political party. It is part of the Lebanese government. So the Israeli intelligence service carried out an act of terrorism that targeted not just the Lebanese civilians, but the Lebanese government. And this has to be condemned around the world. I am hopeful that nations will rally to the cause of legality and call out Israel for this gross use of terrorism to achieve an objective which they're not going to achieve. What was the purpose of this? To disrupt? Yes, it's a temporary disruption. To terrorize? Of course, there is that. But Hezbollah and Lebanon will adapt. They will adjust. They will emerge. And all Israel has done is further solidify its reputation in the international community as a terrorist entity. And this is the ultimate outcome here. This is where Israel loses. They suffered a superficial victory. But in the weeks and months to come, this will only come back to haunt Israel because the world will see this as it is, an act of terrorism.
Well, I certainly hope he's right that it's going to come back to haunt them. But we'll see. So I just wanted to play this for you in case you're on the fence about, hey, is this an act of terrorism? Even if you're cool with that, if you're cool with what they're doing, you're cool with terrorism. And you are less ethical than the CIA. So wouldn't it be great if the UN actually had some kind of power to do something? What an almost complete waste of time the UN is. I mean, maybe somebody knows more about the UN than me and can tell me some good things they've gotten done, but I don't know. Hey, look at what this is. It's called Positive. Let's be real. Dogs have a sixth sense for finding the one thing in your house that they absolutely shouldn't eat. It happened today. Like your hidden chocolate or whatever treasure they dug up in the backyard. That's why they put together the Positive Emergency Kit. Because let's face it, these what did you just eat moments happen more than we'd like. Happened today to me. From unexpected allergy flare-ups, surprise bowel movements, or even classic what did you just eat off the floor mystery, this kit has got you covered. It's your first line of defense for keeping your dog safe and sound, no matter how curious they get. And yes, Rumble is the company behind it, so you know it's top quality. Visit Positive.com, pick up your emergency kit today for your small or large pet, and save 15% with the code Jimmy. That's Positive.com. Get your emergency kit for when your dog eats stuff they're not supposed to. Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Burbank, California, and we're going to be in Honolulu, January 11th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.